Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another great episode of Let's Go Low. Here, brought to you by Golfers Unite and our friends at amac.us on the Big 8 AM 820 in Tampa. Our special guest today is a guy that's been in golf, has helped grow the golf community and the golf world. Our friend Chris Karamitsos is a partner of LIPG, which is the Leisure Investment Properties Group, and he helps get deals done for golf courses. Chris, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, thank you very much, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Fantastic. Now, Chris, you've been in golf for a long time. Why don't you tell us a little bit about backstories, like how you got into the industry? Was it passion project? Was it business opportunity? Tell us, about your golf. Are you a golfer yourself? What's your handicap? Give us a little backstory for our listeners today.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Jeff. Yeah, it very much was a passion of mine coming out of college. I didn't really play on a college team, but when I went in the Army, I had a lot of time to play golf when I wasn't out in the field, and it became a true passion. And once I exited the Army, I said, well, what am I going to do? Do I want to go to law school? Do I want to go to work here or there? And I was friends with the local pro up in Georgia, and he said, hey, why don't you look to get in the golf business? And I applied for a job in Florida, in Naples, and that was my first job coming right out of the Army. I think I was like 28, 29 years old, and I was an assistant pro at a club in Naples called Countryside Country Club, not to be confused with our beautiful Countryside Country Club here in Clearwater. But that was my start, and I got a taste of the golf business. And I've been fortunate to really have a lot of great mentors. There was a guy named Stu Raymond down there who was a great head pro. I got introduced to Ken Venturi, who actually became my mentor as a teacher. And I went to work for him up here in the Tampa area. And I did the teaching pro thing for a while. Greg Gagliardi, who was, running that whole Paradise Golf. He brought me into Landsbrook back in the early 90s. And I learned a lot from him operationally, on the marketing side. He was a great mentor for me. I've had such great mentors in this industry. And
yeah, one of the things that's really cool about the golf industry is just how much people genuinely want to help other people in the golf. I think it's a commonality between golfers and people who have a passion for the sport. They want to see it grow. They want other people to, play golf or be in the golf business. It's fantastic. So we're talking with Chris Karamitsos, partner at Leisure Investment Properties Group. Chris, first and foremost, thank you for your service, serving the Army. We appreciate that very much. You're listening to Jeff Stanislow here on the Let's Go Low show on AM 820, the Big 8, every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. This episode's brought to you by Golfers Unite. It's golfersunite.com, and our friends at AMAC, the Association of Mature Adult Citizens, amac.us. Chris, when you mentioned you had a mentor and someone that taught you the ropes here in the Tampa Bay area, how important was that for you, when you were getting started in your golf career?
Extremely important, because you have to build off of what other people teach you. Nobody goes into it knowing the answers themselves. It's a compilation of years and years, decades and decades passed down from one generation to another. The golf industry, whether it's business, whether it's the operational side, the playing, teaching, the more you can learn, the better off you are, and the more mentors you have. And like I said, I've been very fortunate in that regard.
Fantastic. Chris Karamitsos, partner at LIPG, Leisure Investment Properties Group. Let's dive a little bit into your business. Now, you started off after serving the country in the Army as assistant pro, and then You got mentored by some other great people, and you started off like doing that. Now you are in the business of buying and selling golf courses. What a fantastic journey. Maybe tell us how you kind of went from your earlier days and got involved in, maybe the real estate and the business side of golf courses.
Sure. When I exited the club side of the business, um, I had the privilege of becoming the junior golf chair for the North Florida PGA section. I was doing a lot of work with U.S. Kids Golf, and I had the Tampa tour, which is now run phenomenally by Tom Shea, a great local PGA professional, does a great job with that. But my father was partners in a real estate firm, and he coaxed me to come to work with them. And from there, I started learning more and more about real estate. And then my current partner now, Steve Ekovich, and we've got a couple other partners, but he recruited me to go to a national firm called Marcus and Millichap and begin the leisure division for them, and basically work on the in the golf airspace, saying, hey, you know what? There's probably a need for good, competent brokering of golf course facilities, golf courses, golf master plan communities. I'll bet there's not a lot of it out there. So we took a swing at that, and we hit a home run, basically. We've got our own firm now. We broker the sale of golf courses all over the United States. Here in the Tampa area, I think we've brokered, probably well over a dozen deals. Black Diamond Ranch, Lakewood Ranch, some of the other prominent courses like the Cabot, Worldwood Steel, that was our deal. We've sold the Eagles a couple of times, Feather Sound. We've really we've made a pretty good mark here, and it's been a great journey for us. We've been so fortunate and so blessed. We've got a great team, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. I could imagine like your experience, like learning the green grass side of golf, and then going into the kind of real estate world and understanding that, and then you just mirrored the two together. What a fantastic story. We're talking with Chris Karamitsos, is a partner of the LIPG, which is Leisure Investment Properties Group. Buying and selling golf courses and resorts and properties. You named some fantastic courses here in Tampa that you've been a part of, including Black Diamond and Cabot and Feather Sound, and doing deals right there. So a quick question, there's a lot of people out here that are listening that said, God, I would love to own a golf course, or be a part of it. Why don't you tell us, like, in a nutshell, some of the things to look for if someone's thinking about that, whether it's like operationally wise or capital wise. Golf is hot right now, but what does it really take, and what's the first kind of step to maybe evaluating a potential opportunity, and of course share how someone might get a hold of you if that's in their their wheelhouse or their dream.
Sure. I appreciate that. Well, there used to be an old saying that to make a small fortune in the golf business, you'd have to start with a large fortune. And that has totally flipped on its head. Coming out of the pandemic, golf just grew. Golf got way oversupplied coming out of the 90s and the early 2000s with the Tiger phenomenon. And the USGA didn't do us any favors with the notion that we had to break ground on a golf course a day in order to keep up with demand. But we got oversupplied, and then once we had the economy implode in 2008, a lot of these golf courses went under. We've gone from having hundreds of golf courses closing every year to now, because we were oversupplied, to actually now almost being undersupplied. We've got equilibrium now in the golf industry. We've got enough golf courses. We almost need more golf courses, but not to go on that building spree like we used to, because the economy can change. But to get into golf, it's interesting. A lot of investors have looked at this and said, the returns in golf aren't like the returns in some of the other core commercial real estate investments, like apartments and retail, and those
Sure.
are all very good investments, usually pretty safe investments, but their returns are very low. And what happened was, when we came out of the pandemic and then interest rates started to go extremely high, what happened was people couldn't go and finance apartment complexes that would return 4%, but the amount of money you're going to borrow is going to cost you 8%. Right?
Yeah, it didn't.
But
It didn't work out.
right, it doesn't work out. So people are saying, well, where do I put my money? And so when you can borrow money at 7 and 8%, and you can go buy a golf course that's going to return you 12 and 13%, there you go. So we had a lot of what they call in the industry capital migration come out of certain sectors of the real estate market and look at different specialty assets like golf, like marinas, like RV parks, things that cater to leisure, because people, after all this pent up demand for getting out and doing things coming out of the pandemic, all those sectors did well. I mean, the boating, you look at any
boating and
boating,
RVs went nuts.
yeah, they went nuts. You look at all the commercials for RVing, and that's become very, very popular. I know a lot of people have gotten into that. So, getting into golf, it's an exciting thing to do. There are good investments. Don't let people cloud you with the thought that, oh, you couldn't possibly make money in the golf business. You can make a lot of money in the golf business. There's a lot of very successful people who've done it.
Yeah, well, fantastic. We're talking with Chris Karamitsos. He's a partner of LIPG, which is Leisure Investment Properties Group, talking about the golf course or resort management and business and buying and selling and acquiring golf courses. It's really, really good information that we're sharing here, Chris. And I appreciate you doing this. This is Jeff Stanislow, your host with Golfers Unite, hosting the Let's Go Low show here on the Big 8, AM 820, every Saturday morning. Brought to you by our friends at AMAC, amac.us, the Association of Mature Adult Citizens. Chris, we talked about that pendulum shift coming out of the pandemic. It was a catalyst for what you called investment migration into other assets, such as golf courses, RVs, things of that nature. Where are we at today? Is it cooled off? Is it still hot, or is it just backed off a little bit? I'm really excited to share this information with our listeners, and I think they'll, get a big understanding of where they think things are too.
Yeah, it's a great question, because that's something that we get asked all the time. I speak on a lot of panels at different golf conferences, Golf Inc. and NGCOA and things like that. And they ask that very question. Has it cooled off? It hasn't cooled off. I think it's stabilized. It's pretty much staying exactly the same. Rounds continue to be strong throughout, whether it's, your daily fee courses, private courses have waiting lists now. We've never seen initiation fees this high. Golf courses that, 20 years ago, you'd get in for $20,000 and now over $100,000. I just read something about a golf course coming online here in the Tampa area, possibly in the next 2 years. And that it's going to be a master plan community with a golf course. And the initiation fees, early indication is that they're going to be $175,000, which is almost unheard of in this market. So, yeah, it's golf has remained very strong. And for the transaction side of it, basically, it sounds counterintuitive, but when interest rates really went up, it really helped our sector of it. It didn't help a lot of other sectors, but it helped our sectors because people had to still put money to work, and where are they going to put it? Now, what we're thinking of is, if we get a little rate relief, we still might see some pretty good investment. We're looking at possibly maybe 50 or 100 basis points in the next 12 months of interest rate relief. Now, as long as that, not to get too germane about it, but those mortgage rates are really tied to the 10-year Treasury, and if that starts to we start to see a little rate relief there, you could see even more investment in golf. You'll see more. I heard a story where Jamie Dimon I think he's with not Citi, but JP Morgan.
JP Morgan Chase, yeah.
Yeah, JP Morgan Chase. He said that there's something like $7 trillion of investment that's just sitting in money markets on the sideline, just collecting interest. And once those interest rates start to go down and that becomes less of an attractive way to put your money to work, that money is going to go to work in other investment vehicles, a lot of which is going to be commercial real estate. And part of that is also going to be in the golf airspace. So we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see a lot of investment continue. I think golf is very strong going forward. It's going to be great.
Fantastic. Chris Karamitsos, partner of LIPG Group. Chris, before we break, and I'd love to have you come back for another episode, if someone wanted to reach out to you, what's your website that they can go check you out?
Yeah, they can go to thelipg.com. That's THELIPG.com. They can reach anybody in the firm. We've got a phenomenal team. They can reach me. And that's the easiest way.
I'd love to have you come back on right after the show. We'll take a quick break here. This is Jeff Stanislow coming live to you here at AM 820 on the Big 8, brought to you by Golfers Unite. We'll be right back.